What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel, and today we are joined by a really special guest, João from Inception LRT. João, welcome to the show. Really nice to have you on here. And perhaps to get this whole podcast started, could you tell us a bit more about what you do and a bit about your background, really? What Inception LRT is all about?
Absolutely. So yeah, we can kickstart about my journey into crypto really. So we all started in 2013 actually. So I've been in the space for a while now. And when I started my journey into crypto, I started by opening the first Bitcoin mining company in Portugal in about almost 10 years ago and buying Bitcoin at $100. So it was a wild ride back then. Started working with companies such as Antminer, Bitmain, from Shenzhen, China. Like I got a contact there from one of the lead engineers, and really it kickstart everything. So from that moment onward, so I really developed a lot of curiosity about crypto, about BTC, about how everything works. And in about 5 years, I developed the company from zero to product value of 20 million AUM that we were managing at the time. 2017, decided to sell off the company, moved to London, worked in banking, then moved to the US, worked in venture capital, did my master's degree in UC Berkeley in finance, and working more in the private equity space and all that. And last year, so I was actually advising a couple projects in DeFi. So I never left crypto pretty much. So been always into crypto, blockchain. And last year I was reading about Eigenlayer. And when I look into Eigenlayer, I was like, damn, this sounds so interesting, right? And my previous job, I was like a little bit getting bored about doing a lot of Excel, a lot of spreadsheets. And I decided that, well, this will be the perfect timing to actually jump on the startup world again. So I got in contact with my co-founder, is actually the CTO, with his ex-Anchor, which has a deep knowledge in the liquid staking space. Currently, my co-founder, Pedro, which is also a neighbor of mine in Portugal. And we set up a team and we got immediately by one venture studio in Dubai. We did our pre-seed 1 year ago, and that's our Kickstarter things. So what is Inception and why it matters and why it matters, right? So first, let's look at the liquid staking and restaking space. So restaking is like you have your savings account there giving yield, but you want to have more yield. So exactly as like a double mortgage scenario where you have your house, you stake it once and then you stake it twice to get extra liquidity. That's the same concept with restaking, right? So you are doing a double mortgage concept where you have your savings account producing yield. Pretty much that's the beauty of it. That's what Eigenlayer is allowing people to do, to get this staking the ETH twice, and by that they are getting a double layers of. And we kickstart Inception actually more in the LST staking space. So the goal was to first have all the staking providers and all the staking opportunities, such as like Lido ETH, Coinbase, etc. Everything is allowed in Inception. Then later in the game, we added native staking, and now we are in the process of adding native staking of BTC. So many, many good things to come. So we are super excited.
Cool. So it's actually really interesting to hear about your entire career path. I'm pretty sure that you've been in the TradFi space for quite a while as well. One question will be, how has that helped you develop Inception LRT? And, a lot of finance people come into crypto at some point in their career. How did your career path lead you to becoming actually the CEO and co-founder of Inception LRT?
Yeah, so as I said, so because I've been in the crypto space for a long time, I also developed a lot of good contacts, a lot of good people that I know. And I guess that because I started in the startup space, from startup did 5 VC, PE, etc. I guess that after a while, you just need that kick, you need that to go back in the field and really get in the Wild West, so to speak, right? So for me, it was also about the adrenaline, the rush, about building a new project, being an ex-founder too, and also leveraging a lot of the contacts that I did throughout the years, right? So pretty much I took this challenge and I guess it's going very well. Until now we are live for almost 1 year. And I will say that the traction is getting really, really good. The partners that we have, the cap table that we have right now is amazing. And again, with the new developments on BTC, new developments on new infrastructure providers such as Symbiote, Nectar, Karak. I guess it will get even better and better and better, you know.
Cool. And, you know, restaking has been one of the biggest narratives in recent times, especially in this new crypto cycle. And so, how does Inception LRT look to differentiate itself from all of the restaking plays that are building themselves in this market? And, you know, perhaps maybe what's the mission behind Inception LRT? Is there something deeper there as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So the way that we are trying to differentiate ourselves is mainly on is only everything about the client, right? So what we want is to make sure that the client is happy and has all the options in the market. So currently Inception is the only LRT in the world that offers all the LST staking plus native staking. So with Inception, if you go on our dashboard right now, you see that we have 12 LST staking plus the native staking. We have 13 blockchains live currently. So 13 contracts live currently. And we are the only LRT that is doing that right now. So if you look at any of the competitors, I will say Ether5, so they are, I will say, specializing themselves in one or two spaces and really going in that direction. What we want to do is really to be a one-stop shop for all the LRTs. So instead of you as a client going into multiple protocols staking and you don't know what is inside the smart contracts, you have to read the documents. You just Inception, you have once everything in one dashboard with one click. That is the main premises. The second one is to give the most transparent and the most security and assurance to everyone staking. So we were the first LRT in the world to allow withdrawals, for example. So there are protocols right now that don't even have withdrawals. They already admitted that they don't know how to program the withdrawals, they don't know how to do it, they have no capabilities. And I don't know if that is right or not. I'm not them. But what I can say is that in Inception, we make sure that the client is happy. So we developed a technology called Flash and Stake, which is in the pools. We have a Flash and Stake pool on the side that if you want your money faster, you can pay a fee, and this fee allows you to access to this Flash and Stake to withdraw faster. So again, if you want your money moving faster, you can pay a fee, your money moves faster, and no one is doing this, you know. And again, by not only allowing withdrawals active since like months and months already, we also have now in the 13 pools Flash and Stake available where you can unstake in a matter of minutes or seconds, you know, just by paying a higher fee. So the client chooses if they want to wait the 7 days unbound period or they want to actually Flash and Stake in 1 minute by paying an extra fee of between 1%. Normally is variable fee depending on the pool, but normally is about 1%. So this is another thing that we think that is very prominent is the fact that you need to have insurance against slashing, you know. So EigenLayer is about to also release the slashing component. And by having now the AVS rewards live, the slashing will come next. So we are actually very, very active producing a slash insurance in all pools to make sure that if something happens, you are, again, by a premium, you can be insured. And we plan to also release this on BTC after having the BTC live. So I will say that in a nutshell, we are a company that really our mission is to be transparent, is to be secure, and is to make sure that the client is happy and everything they need in one place.
Cool. So really customer centric in this case. And obviously liquid restaking has lots of benefits to people who choose to, you know, restake their tokens. So one question that might be useful for especially those people who are new to crypto watching this channel is, could you explain a bit what LRTs are all about? And apart from just getting more yield off of your assets, why they are important for the ecosystem?
Yeah, so by staking, you are actually putting your ETH to work. So you are making sure that your ETH is securing the ecosystem. So by staking, you are making sure that ETH is locked in the ecosystem. And by locking in, you are making sure that this portion is helping to grow and to validate more transactions and to making sure that the ecosystem is secure. So the more you stake and the more ETH is deployed within the ecosystem, the better the ecosystem will be and the more security we'll have because you have more validation, more validators, and more security throughout the whole, So this concept of staking, and if you look at the history of staking, you see with Lido and Rocket Pool, how these companies became multi-billion-dollar companies. And that's just to show how important staking is for crypto in general, especially, of course, in the EVM ecosystem. So by having this and by allowing you to restake, to allowing an extra layer of security, but of course to reward the user with more yields, I guess that is a win-win situation because you are not only providing ETH to the ecosystem, locking in, you're helping the security and the validation, but you are also rewarding the user with an extra layer of yields, So and then there is even like more exotic options. For example, now, which is one of the infrastructure providers similar to EigenLayer, their mission now is actually that you will be able to restaked assets. Meaning that you go on Beacon Chain on ETH, you stake it once. You go on Eigen, you stake it twice, and then you can still go on Karak and restake a restaked asset. I still don't know how that is going to play out, especially in terms of like security risks, but it's interesting how we are seeing a lot of derivative products and even more degen products, so to speak. So in the end of the day, it's finance, it's like banking. It's purely like banking.
Cool. So obviously some exciting developments happening in the space over there as well. And I also understand that you guys actually recently launched Inception V2. Could you dive a bit into the major upgrades and features of this new version?
Absolutely, absolutely. So for that, I need to go back a little bit in the history of the company. So when Inception started, so in Portugal, there was two companies of staking. Was my company, which was Genesis in the beginning, and then it was Inception. Genesis, when I started, was focused purely on native staking. Inception, which is Pedro started, my co-founder, was purely focused on LSTs. After a couple of months, some of our investors said, guys, you are neighbors, you are working in the same thing. Why are you doing two different companies? Like just merge the companies, build a second version, and make it better. So we decided to do that. So after I worked on myself for a couple months, Pedro, my co-founder, worked by itself for a couple months. Then we merged and we kept the Inception name. Why we kept the Inception name, and this is an important feature, because Inception already had 12 smart contracts. And to make the change of 12 smart contracts to Genesis, it will be an insane amount of work. So what we did is, because I brought more I'll say the more social part of the ecosystem also, and I brought, well, different types of investors. Pedro brought some other qualities that he has, and we decided to merge in. I stayed as CEO and Pedro stepped down and as my COO at the moment, and he's more in the operational and market part of things, and I still kept as CEO. So the version 2 is really the merge of two projects that we're building now with a bigger and better project. With the version 2, we have more team members because we merged two companies. We have more fundraising because we merged two fundraising rounds. We have more capabilities. For example, the insurance part was being built by my ex-company, Genesis. Now I brought in the insurance for the pools. The flash and stake was also being milled on the side of Genesis. I brought in the flash and stake for the Inception pools. So pretty much we merge all the technicalities and make sure that this Inception V2 is actually a very, very robust company and that is here to stay, 12, 13 pools with flash and stake, with insurance, Bitcoin coming up. It's amazing.
Cool. So looking even further into the future, how do you see Inception LRT evolving in the next few years, even moving on from Inception V2? And what are the key innovations or developments that you are actually looking towards and people can expect?
Absolutely. So for us, the next big thing right now is definitely BTC, So BTC is something that I will say that is here to stay because you have all these OGs, all these whales in the BTC ecosystem with like trillions and trillions of dollars just stopped in their wallets. And by you allowing the staking of BTC, you are now making sure that this BTC is being used to create some yield. And like, imagine you have 1 million of BTC sitting on your wallet. Don't you want to earn 3, 4, 5% on your 1 million? Of course you want. And you want to keep your BTC. You don't want to bridge it to a stable coin or to do whatever and pay high amounts of fees. No, you want to keep your BTC. You are a believer of BTC and you want to gain yields on BTC. So that's exactly what we are building, you know? So that is definitely the next step for Inception, is making sure that you have a very clean BTC solution. So what are we doing in that direction? First, we are deploying BTC Vault on Symbiotic. So this is the first thing that we are right now finalizing. Second thing is we are developing native BTC staking on Babylon and Pell network. And then the objective is, after these integrations and these technologies are deployed, what we want to do is to make sure that we have flush and stake on all the BTC pools, insurance on all the BTC pools, and then even further, if you ask me, okay, so what's Inception in the next 1 year? Actually, we're thinking about this already. So what we want to do is, why stop at BTC? You know, because BTC is a coin that is there sitting on wallets, not doing anything, but people want to create yields. What about all the hundreds of good coins that people have and hold that are not creating yields? So that for us is the next step. So for example, we are already looking at a Chainlink, for example, even Litecoin. Why not stake those? You know, why not create a solution for people to stake those? And if we actually deploy it in the market, we'll be the first ones to actually offer all these coins staking and restaking solution for these coins. So I would say that that is amazing.
Cool. Yeah, that definitely sounds really exciting, giving people more options, especially as a lot of people just want to hold on to their BTC. It tends to do better in a bear market. So yeah, definitely something that we're looking forward to very much. So let's now move on to a more personal note. What are some current market trends you see as most influential in the overall blockchain and crypto space?
Yeah, so I'll say two things. So first, one that we already discussed a lot, which is bringing utility to a lot of altcoins, right? So as BTC, as I said, giving utility to Link, for example, giving utility to all these coins that we already discussed. I think that that is definitely the next market trend for the next 6 months plus. Another trend that actually I've been discussing on a lot of AMAs is, to bring mass adoption, you need a lot of like chain abstraction. So I'll say that chain abstraction is a topic that I've been getting more and more fascinated with, because if you look at like how your cell phone works, your computer, whatever, like you don't even know what is running. You just know that you click a button and does whatever you want it to do, right? So the other day I was thinking that during my fundraise, story happened. So we fundraised with a lot of like DAO, KOLs, angels, VCs, right? Every type of people. And one of group of investors, when we got invested, I received like 90% of what this was supposed to be from that the SAF, and 10% was missing. And I came back to them and said like, hey guys, like 10% is missing. What's up? And they say like, oh, one of our members of the community actually sent to the wrong address. That was like, damn. So these people are experts in crypto, and even an expert makes mistakes, which is normal, happens, right? So if you have chain abstraction, if you have a very clean way to do things where you say send money and the next person receives without even looking at what chain is being chosen, what ecosystem, whatever, like I'll say that that's the future for mass adoption. Because when you transfer money in your bank, you just say send to person X and the bank does the rest in the back end, right? So I will say that that is something that has been fascinating me a lot, which is, we, even though for us it's already so normal to choose the chains, to choose the ecosystem, to see, okay, I'm sending in this blockchain, I need to receive in the same one. For a person that is coming into the space, they need to have an even friendlier dashboard, friendlier ecosystem. And again, that's why in Inception, we are very proud to have a very clean dashboard that you can just click and have everything in front of you. And maybe even further apply all these hardcore chain abstraction technologies into Inception too. And my last topic, which is a little bit more abstract, I'll say, is about humans and human sentiment, right? So we are now passing through a moment of elections in the US. And you probably saw how Trump went to Nashville to do a speech, right? And the thing is, if you have Trump supporting hardcore crypto and BTC and doing speeches, then you have the other side with Kamala that you really don't know what she's doing. They say that they are against crypto, but I already heard that some of her peers are not so against crypto. So it's a political war. And the thing is, the US is an important space for crypto, right? As China is important, as Russia, it's big masses of people. We need mass adoption. We need more people. We need more transactions, right? So for us in crypto space, that is so important. So I will say that I'm very curious to see what will be the outcome of the US elections. I will say that if Kamala wins, I don't know if that is good or not for the ecosystem. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's good. You never know. If Trump wins, I think it will be better. But again, you never know because something can go wrong and then all goes bust. But yeah, it's curious because in the end of the day, if you are talking about big markets and the US as a big market, you have now the ETFs, you have the big banks, and everything plays. Everything plays in this game, and everything is so important to align, especially when you are looking at companies with billions and billions of valuation. You want to make sure that you are tackling the corporate players and the biggest players. So you have to look into stuff like political elections, ETFs, and what is BlackRock doing, for example. So that is so important.
Cool. So obviously regulations and global economic policies are going to be important moving forward, especially if you're running a crypto company or even investing in crypto. So another question is more specific to liquid staking and restaking. What role do you see for regulation in the future of liquid staking, DeFi, and restaking? And how do you perceive overall investor sentiment towards these products?
Yeah, this is a great question. So I will say that right now, because the market is a little bit unstable, the investor sentiment is a bit low. So we are seeing a lot of people that are avoiding staking at the moment, avoiding investment, which is normal. The market is passing through a downturn at this moment. But if you look at January, February was a completely different story. So everyone was like super happy about doing deals, staking, trading. So it's a cycle, right? So it's up, down, up, down, up, down. So right now, I'll say it's a little bit of a downturn, but the way I see it in the future is very positive. Why? Because if you look at the trends in general, you see that even though small players are selling in this market, you see that big players continue to buy BTC, continue to buy ETH, and they are taking this opportunity to buy even more. So for me, that's just like a reason to say that, well, the market is going great. The big players continue to buy. So what should you do? You should buy more. That's the thing. So I'll say that the market trend is positive in general. I'll say that especially with people wanting more yields, I'm curious to see what is going to happen with the rewards on the A4 eigenlayer. Are the rewards going to be astronomically big? Yes or no? I'm waiting for that. I'm curious to see with players like Karak, restaking of restaked assets. Can you actually make it happen? Like curious about that. And I guess that the future is bright, full of yields and full of more uptrends. So my personal feel is good, even though we are now in a bit of a downturn. But I'll say that when we kickstart September, October, like it will be going up, like 100%.
Cool. So, on that note, and rounding out with some final thoughts, overall, how do you stay motivated in the crypto space, especially given the downturn situation that we're having now? And what advice would you give to young professionals, entrepreneurs like yourself who are looking to enter the blockchain or crypto space?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So for me, I guess that because I do what I love, I'm always motivated. So like I'll say that I'm self-motivated, like I wake up every day happy about doing what I love. So and in that sense, I will say that I'm super blessed. I'll say that's a message for like young entrepreneurs and stuff like that. So it's first, I see a lot of people that want to either don't go to college or leave college immediately to crypto. Like take your time, like first go maybe to a big four, maybe develop your skills in a consulting company, in a bank or something. And then when you have all those skills, go into crypto and be the best at it. I'll say that's the best advice that I can get. And a lot of people nowadays also say, oh, a university degree is worthless. It's not. That's not true at all. You need to have, for example, if you are a miner, let's say a miner, you need to know how to handle the tools. to do the mining, right? So that's the same thing. Like, how can you produce good Excel sheets, good risk modeling if you don't know how to do modeling, you know? So you need to have these tools to then go to the market and actually know how to use them and how to build the best thing as possible, you know? And again, even nowadays, that if you have a regular job and if you are learning, you are in university, you can still work in crypto part-time and still develop skills. So I'll say that get involved in the communities, learn more, go into the Discords, talk with people, listen to podcasts like this, and you will learn, and then you keep yourself motivated, and then you start your own project, and that's it, you know.
Cool. So, rounding out the interview, is there anything else you would like to share with our audience or some final words?
Absolutely. So go to Inception, InceptionLRT.com, stake with us, try even if it's with a small amount, try our dashboard, get yourself some good yields. If you don't like it, you can always flash and stake super fast and get your money back in a matter of a second. So it's completely safe. And that's it. Go into our Discord, join our community on Discord. Our community is great. Anything, by the way, every Friday, me and my co-founder always do what we call a town hall, which is we go on Discord and answer everyone's questions about the protocol. So again, if you want to have a conversation with me, you can have it every Friday, 3 p.m. London time. Me and Pedro, we are going to be live every Friday, and we do that every week. We stay very close to the community and we make sure that everyone is happy and that we are developing the best company as possible. So yeah, anything, yeah, just come in contact with me, connect with me on LinkedIn, let's talk. Always love to share some stories. Yeah.
Amazing. Guys, that was João from Inception LRT. He is the founder and CEO of Inception LRT. If you want to find out a bit more about what they are building at Inception LRT, do check out the links down in the description. Everything will be over there. João, once again, thank you for coming on the show. It was really nice having you on here to chat about your project as well as crypto. And
Absolutely.
all in all, hopefully you found this video informative and interesting. If you did, do leave a like and consider subscribing to this channel. With all that being said, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.